Keith, why education law?
Well, we found that there's a lot of students out there who have all kinds of problems and issues, and there are very, very few resources for them available to assist them through those matters. And so as a result of that, we saw an opportunity here to help children, whether it is through special education needs and services, through student discipline type matters, all the way through litigation when it's necessary. And we brought in a staff of education professionals that are our primary service deliverers. So what we do with a special education problem, it's somebody who's skilled and trained in special education advocacy is the primary person to deliver those services. But if we get to the point of a due process hearing, that's where an attorney gets involved. But in general, I saw an opportunity here for us to be able to provide the best possible resources to assist our clients in need.
You have a reputation for working with Title IX, which is a tough area at the college level. Talk to me about one of your early cases and what makes Title IX different than other college discipline matters.
Well, first of all, the issue with Title IX is that the consequences and outcomes can be very severe. For example, something that's a relatively minor difference in terms of the action, like, for example, where two students have sex and it was unprotected, the question whether it was consented to as unprotected or it was not consented to, that very subtle distinction can make the difference between a student being found responsible and dismissed from the school and a finding of no responsibility. One of our earliest Title IX cases very much was about consent, where the claimant was asserting that she had not consented to all kinds of different activities. And through our research and examination of the evidence, we were able to find emails where she had suggested to our client to engage in the very conduct that she was accused and was not consented to. So that was a big success for us in one of our early Title IX matters. But Title IX can be very extreme in terms of the outcomes, and it's disproportionate in that if a respondent is found not responsible, there's no accountability to the claimant. But if they are found responsible, it can be career-altering and can have major implications that can affect them for the rest of their life.
We deal a lot with cheating. And even in the last 5 years, the nature of cheating has changed. Talk about some of the cases that you've worked with where students were accused of cheating and what those big issues are right now.
Well, I think the biggest issue right now is over the use of AI, artificial intelligence, and whether schools can accurately detect whether a student has used AI. A study was done where they put the U.S. Constitution through an AI detector that concluded it had been written by artificial intelligence, which obviously wasn't true. And we see circumstances where you may have a student who is on the autism spectrum that just as a consequence may use various different terms that other neuronormal people would not use. They get picked up as using AI. And we have a case like that going on right now where the student who actively wrote his work at the writing center to show that he did not use AI, he was still accused of using AI anyway. Foreign educated students is another area where AI is flagged as a problem. That's really, I think, the hottest area right now, with the exception of students who are actively cheating by engaging with individuals who will log into their computer and then take a test on their behalf. And we're seeing more and more of this, or we're seeing on the other side, students, because they travel or because they use a VPN, are being accused of having a third party interacting with the school, even though they did nothing wrong.
Last one. As a firm, you've worked with K-12, you've worked with college, and you've moved into special education. Why that move to special education?
Those who need special education services are the most vulnerable. You know, it's an intellectual exercise for the parents, for the attorneys, for the school district. But at its core, though, it's about a kid who needs help, a kid who has special needs, a kid who is behind the eight ball and needs some assistance in trying to level the playing field. And to me, it just didn't seem fair that they should not the help and support that they need to give them the best possible chance. Now, maybe some of these kids will never be able to achieve a normal 12th grade education, but they're entitled to get the best education that they can using the best resources that are available, using the best methods that have been tested. And a lot of times this just simply doesn't happen. And I saw that it was necessary to help these kids out. So from my perspective, it is, what do we need to do to get these kids moving in the right direction? And I wanted to do everything that we could do to help that happen. And as a result of that, that's why we got involved in special education services.